So Chael Sonnen came out some hours ago and stated that Du Plessis will be next against Israel Adesanya. Now, originally I was skeptical. I just couldn't see a way that this fight would take place and how the UFC would justify it. But after watching Chael's video, I'm on board with it. I'm on board with the story because Izzy has walked through everyone else. Everyone he has beaten. Every fighter within that top 5. Now, although Du Plessis may not be a worthy challenger, what are the fighters there to make? I mean, originally, this was my thoughts. Let's just have Khamzat Chimaev come up and face Israel Adesanya for the title. God, could you imagine the pay-per-view buys that would do? That would be off the charts, wouldn't it? We've got the hottest prospect in the UFC right now, Khamzat, walking through everybody. I mean, the only guy that's really landed strikes against him is Gilbert Burns. Coming up to face Israel Adesanya, who is not a great wrestler himself, a wrestling killer versus a striking killer, to decide who the champion is. I was all in on that story, to be quite frank. But it appears that Khamzat Chimaev is going to be facing Paul Costa. Because as we know, Costa has returned to the UFC, which is great news. It's great news for everybody. Paul Costa's a fantastic personality and he sells. Now, that was my reasoning for why I was sort of against Du Plessis in the beginning. He doesn't sell pay-per-views. I mean, the level of competition he's beaten isn't even that great. He's not on Israel Adesanya's level. I don't think anyone's going to deny that. But Israel Adesanya is playing a smart game. As Chael said, he called Du Plessis out on Twitter. Not by name, just in reference, saying he's going to drag him around Africa, and Du Plessis fired back at him. Now, I think Israel Adesanya is being very strategic here. He knows that Alex Pereira is the only real threat to him right now. Maybe him and Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev. So he's being very strategic about avoiding those fights, and he has the right to. I mean, he's already beaten both of those, and then we've got Khamzat Chimaev, who hasn't really beaten anyone at middleweight yet. So unfortunately, for all of us, I think Du Plessis is going to be next. I'm not too thrilled about this as a fight fan. What do you guys think? Does anyone actually rate this guy as having a chance at all? I mean, let's just have a look at Du Plessis' record. I mean, his last 2 fights, his win was against a washed up Darren Till, who, as we know with Darren, has been on the decline for quite some time. Unfortunately, has faced some injury issues and he just didn't look like the same fighter against Du Plessis. And then after that, he faced off against Derek Brunson. And that wasn't an impressive performance by any means by Du Plessis. Now, Derek Brunson is no slouch himself, but he's an aging fighter. I wasn't as impressed with Du Plessis, not in the way that's going to justify a title shot. I mean, in a perfect world, he'd need to rack up another 3-4 more wins against top fighters to be eligible to take on Izzy. But it seems Israel Adesanya is making the rules at this point. Now, it does raise the question, what is next for Alex Pereira? Dana White seems to think that he's going to be moving up in weight. I'm not too sure that he's going to want to do that. I have a feeling that Alex will want a rematch against Israel Adesanya at some point. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to be next for him in the middleweight division if he decides to not move up to light heavyweight to take on the contenders up there. But what do you guys think about Du Plessis? Do you give him any chance at all against Israel Adesanya?